Oh, hello. Fourth attempt at a video today. I tried a third one and then I don't know, halfway through it, I got really tired. And even now, I'm like, fuck, I'm really tired. And I don't know. So I'm trying to stay awake. So let's see how this goes. What if the West Kaioshin trained Izuku, or what if Izuku was trained by the West Kaioshin? How this works is the moment right before her death, when Kid Buu would have hit her with that big blast, just a regular ki attack, she just uses the Kai Kai, but passes out halfway through the teleportation, falls through a wormhole, falls into a portal. Portal spits her out, lands, crashes. My Hero Academia world. This happens to be in the forest where young Izuku is training. He's training for the UA exams. He's still quirkless, but things have not been good for Izuku. You see, in this timeline, his dad cheated on his wife. So, yeah, turns out Izuku has a brother, and, by the name of Hitoshi Shinzo. And, well, the two don't get along at all. In this timeline, Shinzo inherited pyrokinesis rather than brain control. So, yeah, that's just how that is. So, yes, and his purple flames are, cool. A lot of people like the purple flames that he has, And, well, Izuku, he's still the intelligent hero nerd. It's just when Inko found out she committed suicide and, a lot of sad shit happened. Izuku, had this determination to become a hero because that's the only fucking thing he has left. But, in reality, he kinda knows that this is gonna fail. And once, the UA entrance exam is over, and he, gets that rejection letter, he'll join his mom in the afterlife because there's just nothing left for him. And then boom, crush, woman's there. He sees this woman, he's not sure who she is. Her outfit's weird, so he's thinking maybe a pro hero. So he treats her to the best of his abilities. He has some bandages. He he was blushing the entire time and he felt kind of awkward. But he did clean all of her wounds, so yeah, completely. There was a river nearby, so, was able to wash her, bandaged her, replaced all of her clothes on. He was surprised that this woman didn't wear undergarments, so it was strange to him. And yeah. Anyway, we fast forward a little bit. Now, remember, wormholes manipulate space and time, so, the fact that we're time skipping thousands of years from Goku's time era, that's fine, so don't worry. This isn't even the same, planet that Goku grew up on, where he became the Super Saiyan. Yeah, no, that's not a thing here. See, she wakes up and she asks, where is she? Where's Majin Buu? Why is she not at the Kaioshin realm? Izuku's confused as fuck about all this shit, and, couple minutes of explanation from both of them, she realizes, she's on a planet somewhere in her universe, and on the west quadrant of her section. She sighs as, she looks down. She looks at Izuku. She has a blush mark as she's saying, so you saw everything? Thank you. And, if it wasn't because I'm so hurt right now, I would beat you. I don't have enough energy to heal myself right now. So, consider yourself lucky. Izuku's confused. But, yeah. Yeah, he did admit, she was bleeding pretty badly. So if he didn't, make sure everything was properly branded, she could have died. And, he just can't let someone die, not right in front of him. The way he said it made her realize that there is, deeper shit within Izuku about, his backstory. It's more complex than what he's not told me. He's said some things about him being quirkless and, not much. But, she doesn't prod. Izuku doesn't prod on the Kaioshin realm or this Majin Buu creature, but it does terrify him. He's saying, so how much longer do you need until you think you're able to heal yourself? Kaioshin straight up says him, she doesn't have a lot of, energy within her right now. She needs to rest. So, give her like a day or so of sleep. Then she can heal herself. And then, they can talk. As, yeah, Izuku would kind of, feed her, because she can't really move. Her body is fucked up. And she is super embarrassed every single time. Her stomach rumbles. Izuku's feeding her, like actually spoon feeding her. He would make rice, some stew, cut apples into pieces for her to bite, and she'd be blushing the entire time. Izuku's also just like, here you go. She would open her mouth, and Izuku, he's looking at her lips and, her tongue a lot, and he's trying not to, get those thoughts, but he's just like, dear God, I did not know I could love a girl with pointy ears. So, yeah, this is where things, get kind of fun. You see, after, that fun day, she ate and, well, she drank a few things, and it was kind of weird because Izuku did have to, hold her up or position her up somewhere where, she would have to hold the water bottle. And the way she would drink, Izuku's just like, control yourself, control yourself, control yourself. But yeah, that was fun. And the Kaioshin knew that Izuku was trying his best to not, think perverted thoughts, because she was reading his mind the entire time. Thinking, this brat is having sick thoughts and I'm going to, okay, he's fighting the urge. So she also blushes a little bit because, she did hear the comment of I didn't know I could be attracted to a girl with pointy ears. She thought like, okay, kid thinks I'm cute. That's interesting. That's neat. After a few hours of, them, and she realizes she does have enough energy to heal herself, and all of a sudden, she has to go to the bathroom. She was about to, she's blushing when she calls out for Izuku. And she's saying, Izuku, I need your help. And he's just like, what? I, need you to, she's blushing because she's saying, help me, go over to those bushes. I can do most of it myself. She's moving little bit by little bit. And, her hand glows as she touches herself. Not that way. On her chest, she glows a little bit. So, her bandages and bruises, they heal a little bit. The blood is, lessened. But even she admits it's not enough energy, So, she's wobbly. She kind of needs Izuku to help her, walk. And Izuku is just like, oh. He blushes because he realizes that she needs to go to the bathroom. And, yeah, Izuku is just, sure. He leans down. It's awkward for her because, she wraps her arms around Izuku's neck, and, Izuku just carries her bridle style, and she's just like, I could have walked. You could have just been my crutch. Izuku's just like, this is easier and faster. Come on. He quickly goes over, says, what can he help with, and what should he help with, and, she blushes a lot because she admits that, once her pants are down, she would kind of, need Izuku to, in a sense, not hold her, but like, give her stability for squatting. So, something to grab onto. So, kind of like a handlebar, in a sense. So, Izuku's blushing because she just has to take a leak. It's not like she's shitting in front of Izuku. No, dear God, no. that is a boundary I didn't want him to cross. But no, this one instead is just more hilarious in my opinion. So, she pees, and Izuku's just like, I hear nothing. I hear nothing. The world is so peaceful. And the Kaioshin is just like, dear God, I am a god, and I am peeing in front of a mortal. How low have I stooped? She doesn't know, like, how such a thing could happen, but she just hates Majin Buu so much right now. You know, a few minutes of awkward silence later, she says, she's done, and if Izuku could, help her go down to the river to wash properly. Izuku, nods, but, one thing that, she's saying this time, don't carry her bridal style. Just, you know, just be like, just give her the shoulder. And he does. So she places her arm around his. They just walk casually, and her pants are off, and it's kind of awkward. She feels the breeze, and she's just like, quivering a little bit, and Izuku's just like, he doesn't want to tell her to put on the pants if, she wants to wash, so it's just like, this is so weird, this is so awkward, what do I do? They get down, she sits and cleans, Izuku, staring off into the sunset that doesn't exist yet, and he's just like, I'm going to die, I just feel death, he wants to take a step away, he wants to walk away, just think that this was just all some crazy bullshit, and nothing would happen. He will be fine. Everything's gonna be okay. Well, nah. Instead, Kaioshin tells Izuku, sit on the bank with her, and he does. They've moved away from where she did clean herself, and, the water pushes it away, so, they went up the stream. So, yeah. Anyway, as, the two sit in silence, they're both on the bank. She's dipping her feet in the water. And, Izuku's just like, you're not wearing your pants. She's just saying, she giggles a little bit as, she's saying, don't be such a prude, kid. I can't believe a teenage boy like you would be so, pure-hearted. And Izuku's just like, I mean, we don't really, know each other that well, and, after this, I'm pretty sure you're just gonna leave, and, nothing really will change. Izuku then realizes, yeah, he still plans to kind of kill himself later. And, she hears this in his head. She's just like, what was that? And Izuku's just like, oh, about, you going back and, I'll go back to my training. Nothing will change. No, not that. What are you... she grabs Izuku and, brings him in close, and staring at his eyes, and like, about that you killing yourself. Izuku's eyes are just like, wait, you read my mind. Wait, but I didn't say you... she tells him, why would you kill yourself, Izuku? You're so kind. You're so sweet. She's blushing because, you helped me. You literally saved me. You looked at my naked body before. You're not bragging about it. And, even now, like, you're being so nice to someone who you don't know and told you a very crazy story that, I'm surprised you believed. I bet most mortals wouldn't have believed me, so, yeah. Izuku chuckles, because, it does sound fucking insane, and Izuku's just like, I mean, if I didn't see you fall out of the sky, I probably wouldn't have, but I don't think that would have changed. I thought you were just a hero who was hurt, so I wanted to help, because I wanted to be a hero. It's been my dream, but without a quirk, I can't do anything. I've been fooling myself all this time. was part of the reason that my dad cheated on my mom. He heard his son was quirkless and boom, you know, sure enough, he had a son with a backup kid and he just leaves. I probably made it seem like, yeah, no, that would make it seem like Hitoshi's is younger than what he is. No, but, when Hasashi left her, it was because Izuku was quirkless. So, yeah. And then he went to his backup family with the boy who had his quirk, and an evolution of it with pyrokinesis. Now, continuing on with the what if, as, the Kaioshin looks at Izuku very sad, and as, she asks him, why not just, you're already training, so why not change it up a little bit? Izuku's confused at the gesture, but, he asks, what do you mean? She's saying, well, your training is something for mortals, right? Why not, train as a Kai? I have some powers, I'm just tired now and I need more time to regain my energy, but, normally I wouldn't be this worn out, but Majin Buu, yeah, you told me. Yeah, bastard was insanely powerful. I barely had enough energy for the Kai, or so I thought. I used some of my own life energy to use it. I didn't realize I'd pass out. Now I'm here, and I met you, Izuku. And I'm really glad I did. She gives him a kiss on the cheek, and this makes Izuku, blush and flustered like hell. As, she giggles, saying, you're cute too, by the way. Izuku's just like, huh? And, she blushes as he's saying, I could read your mind, and I've been reading it a while. And, I'm surprised you didn't have those thoughts when, you were feeding me. I saw you were looking at my mouth. She licks her lips as, she's just saying, do you want to taste? Izuku's just like, huh? What? I might have misheard you. The Kaioshin giggles as, she does something that, she's just like, this is actually pretty fun. This mortal is entertaining and, she has some feelings and she didn't feel this with the Kaioshins, so, might as well explore what the mortals have to offer. If she's gonna offer Izuku, god techniques, might as well dip in, the humans' pleasantry, the mortals, debauchery. Oh god. That wasn't me trying to cough like a laugh, that was just me actually coughing. Anyway, so, she, places herself closer to Izuku, presses her body against him, and, he is getting flustered as fuck. He's red, as, he's just saying, I mean, I've never been with, and she giggles, and she's just like, I've never been with a mortal either. As, she's saying, wouldn't your first time with a, actual goddess be fun? As, she gets on top of Izuku, pinning him down. Izuku's eyes widen as he's just like, oh boy. As, she's not wearing pants. And Izuku's soldier is already at attention, so she's just like, well, good to see you're lively. Who knows, maybe this will help heal me. Izuku's just like, I mean, I don't know where you're getting your, science from, but who am I to deny, such, medical treatment? As, she giggles, as, Izuku at this point is just like, you know what? I was planning on dying, and then this crazy bullshit happens, and now, by some actual miracle, I am about to fuck God. I do not know what kind of life I have. I suffered some major bullshit, and now I'm about to fuck God. This is, insane. If powers didn't exist, I would have sworn this was some bullshit. as, Izuku and the West Kaioshin begin to fuck. You know, my boy smashes. Now, a few, hours later, the two, you know, naked, cuddled up on the riverbank. She's smiling. As, Izuku's just like, I I'm, surprised. That was, she giggles as, fun. Izuku's just like, very much. She looks at Izuku as she's saying, so, big guy, what do you say? Do you want to be my Kai apprentice? The universe is a big place to explore. There are a few techniques that you can learn. Even these humans could do them. Besides, who needs a quirk when you have the powers of a god, right? Izuku's just like, but I mean, would I even be able to do your techniques? Wouldn't I have to have some sort of god energy inside of, she looks at him with the, boy, are you slow? As Izuku realizes, okay. So, he looks at her. Do all Kai apprentices go through this initiation? No, she says no. She shakes her head no. She's just just being around the Kai's enough. But, physical interactions like this, or combat do help because, the sensation of feeling God key. So, with Izuku actually being inside of a god, might as well. His dick worked as a god key lightning rod. So, yeah. At this point, someone's probably laughing, and I'm glad. I'm really glad. Now, continuing on with the what if. As, Izuku, for the next, couple of years, he trained with the West Kaioshin. He had learned how to do the Kai Kai and spam the Kachi Kanchin, the metal steel blocks. He had also gotten his physical strength up to on par of a 10% full cowling. Now, keep in mind, he could still spam other things, and he does have some key control. Not to mention, his god key isn't really potent. It's like the tiniest spark. But you gotta remember, he's a human, and these are Kais. And Kais aren't necessarily the strongest. They're not god of destruction. So, I don't know what y'all are expecting right now. So, chill the fuck out. We go to the UA entrance exam. Things have been different for Izuku. You see, Izuku had bulked up a bit more, so people didn't really mess with Izuku. One day when this one guy was running away with, a purse that he stole, Izuku, just who happened to be walking with the West Kaioshin, they're holding hands. They're in a, interesting relationship to say the very least. And, well, this orange-haired woman, she's saying, damn it, as, the guy's running off with her purse. Izuku would see it as, the Kaioshin just saying, go ahead. As, Izuku would Kai appear right next to the bandit, kneeing him in the gut, grabbing the purse, Kaiing again to where this orange-haired woman was. He gives her purse. She hugs Izuku, thanking him. The Kaioshin just watches as Izuku, he gets a little bit flustered. He's saying, oh, you're welcome. It was a pleasure. Nice to meet you. I'm Izuka Midoriya. I'm Itsuka Kendo. Nice to meet you. As, he's saying, pleasure. And she giggles as, she's saying she likes his purple hair. Izuku's just saying, oh, thanks. I like yours. It's very nice. Orangey. She thanks him as, he looks down at her body and he realizes she's kind of like a biker. He's just like, oh, I like your leather jacket and your jeans are really nice too. Kendo, she looks down, she smiles, and then, she does a turn And during this turn, when she flashes, no, not flashes, but turns and, shows, the booty, you know, the way it turned, suddenly, and she stopped, it made a quick clapping noise. Kendo quickly realized what she did, and, she blushes a little bit, but Izuku was just like, the jiggle, it was like in slow-mo. The Kaioshin smiles as she realizes, oh boy, lover boy found someone new. She sighs because, she kind of knew that, yeah, she couldn't really keep this relationship for long. But her and Izuku did have her fun time, so she doesn't mind. Izuku was just like, oh, amazing. You, uh, have a wonderful sense of fashion. He looks back up to see Kendo's eyes, and something that surprises both of them is, when the West Kaioshin shows up to Izuku, she's just like, oh, is this your new girlfriend? Sweetie, it's time to go home. She acts like a mom. She changes her appearance ever so slightly to make her seem a few years older because Kai magic. Izuku was just like, huh? What the? She introduces herself as Inko Midoriya. As, Izuku's just saying, what is she? She's saying she was visiting Izuku for a bit, and, his powers came in, chip off the old block, and, well, he's going to be going to UA. And while she can't be, staying for long in Japan because she does have her work to do, which has her working overseas, you know, she thanks Kendo. She looks at Kendo and she's just like, you know, she could just tell she'll be good for her son, you know. So she entrusts Kendo with Izuku, and, she kaikai's out of there. Izuku was just like, what the? As, he would check his phone to get a text message saying, you got it, kiddo. I'll be watching over you. As, Izuku knew it was bound to happen. He sighs as, Kendo was just like, wow, I can't believe your mom kind of just left like that. That's kind of, Izuku's just like, nah, yeah, I kind of saw it coming. My mom's just been like that. She's always had her own style of things. Izuku and Kendo would, start talking. I say a lot in this one for real. As things get interesting. You see, after a while of Izuku and Kendo getting to know one another, they find out they have very similar interests. Well, Kendo likes, wow, I said it again. She likes, black coffee and motorcycles, being very free in her karate nature. Izuku was, very true to martial arts in himself. He likes using certain techniques. And, well, he admits that his abilities aren't, quirked necessarily. He would show her the Kai ability, teleporting her through different places of the world. They go to New York, they see the Statue of Liberty. They go to Italy to see the Leaning Tower of Pisa. They go to France to see the, I just forgot the thing. Eiffel Tower. I forgot the name. Then they go to Rome. They see the Colosseums. Kendo was just surprised that Izuku had been here before, just teleporting over and over again. Izuku would take her to Hawaii. They were at the beach. And Izuku's just like, we could come here on the weekends. It doesn't matter. Teleports again back to Japan. Izuku's just like, wherever she wants to go, they could go. Wherever she wants to learn to fight, they could go to certain dojos and learn new techniques. So yeah, Izuku and Kendo would now start to grow a decent relationship. Now, here's where things pick up. You see, at UA entrance exam, Kendo gets a lot better score because, well, although she never went to the same school as Izuku, she ended up happening to be in the same testing block as him. So, Well, Bakugo was surprised that Izuku had a girlfriend, and let alone an actual karate babe, which annoyed him because Kendo was athletically built. She wasn't scrawny. She had her body built. She was tough, and she could use chops to knock out motherfuckers pretty fucking easily. Bakugo tried to step to her one time, and she just chopped his shit up, and it was GG's. Now, here's where things nane. Oh, arigato. Anyway, this is where things get interesting because, well, on the quirk registry, it's, deemed two quirks: instantaneous moving and then metal block. And they're like, what the fuck is metal block? Of course, when, robots start showing up and, attacking people, Izuku is just summoning Kachin blocks and starts yeeting them at the robots. And they smash, breaking the robots, breaking into the pavement. And then they blip out of existence because Izuku's just like, and I'm done with that, and I'm done with that, and I'm done with that. And then he's also fighting the robots. He's also physically destroying the robots. Now, here's where things get more unique. You see, when it's time for the 0-pointer, when it's Uraka, because, Izuku and Kendo are actually in this together, so they're working together. Which, yeah, Izuku kai-kais a lot with Kendo to get to the 3-pointers a lot. And Izuku, with the long range, would throw 2-pointers towards Kendo, and Kendo would, chop or punch them or palm strike them. And, yeah. He could also use his Kachin blocks to smash the distance ones. Or just build walls to, entrap robots, preventing students from not necessarily getting points, but helping them escape. Those who were, injured or tired. Those who were, feeling drawbacks from their quirks and were about to be caught lacking, Izuku would have teleported and spammed a Kachin block, not to crush the robot, but to pretty much be as a wall, pushing it away, taking the person, and then actually healing them. Which, they're like, wait, what? You can... Izuku just like, shh, they don't know about the healing part. I only put about my teleporting and metal block. Healing is brand new. I haven't updated my register yet. They're like, how many quirks do you have? As far as I know, just these 3. So here, he would heal them as he tells them, good luck. I believe in you. Some bullshit like that. And they kind of believe it. Yo, what's Naruto doing? Haku. Stepbrother Naruto, what are you doing? That's funny. Haku. Bro, he did smash though. What the hell? I do have the thumbnail for the third one. That is an interesting one. Cool. Nani? Okay, that is just that one was dark. Damn. Anyway, back to the what if. As like I was saying, this is where things would be different because Izuku is healing people. So people who had the drawbacks of their quirks aren't necessarily, that in pain anymore. So what's actually happening is something unique. Students are scoring higher and higher than normal, which means they show more potential. Which Shuei is just like, hold up. People in, block 1A and A block are just like, coming back like gophers. One footage they're on the verge of death, then, Izuku comes in, teleports, and yeah, they're like all of a sudden, hoo-ha, hoo-ha, let's go. As they're like, can he heal? They're like, I thought it was teleporting in metal blocks. Well. Either this is something he's hiding from us, or it's a new power. All my who's watching this is just like, Oh, and I'll just like, oh, power. Now, here's where things are unique. You see, in this timeline, something else is gonna happen. Now, as the West Kaioshin is now in the Kaioshin realm, she sees the Z sword still there. She thinks Izuku would be perfect to pull out the sword. Though, she has some flashbacks as she remembers Izuku, you know, this would probably be the only thing he ever pulls out of. And, she places her hand on her stomach as, she senses it. You know, two half Kais are growing in her womb. And she's just like, interesting. She's just thinking. She never thought that, just a few years ago, she was on the verge of death. She realizes that somehow she leapt through time, like through her Kai. She's thinking that she must have fallen somewhere in a time rift, something that spat her out through here. She looks to be the last Kai. And, well, oh no, that's the case, then, there's no god of destruction. And if there's no god of destruction, then, well, she's gonna have to contact someone. Or, that's the thing, if there's no god of destruction, do they not know? Has the Grand Priest not been notified? Or is there something else? Soon enough, not soon enough, but sure enough, someone appears in the Kaioshin realm, and this would be the attendant, Whis. Whis looks at the Kaioshin, and she's saying, my, it's been a while since I've seen you, and here I thought you died. But what's interesting is the time you spent with that mortal. You seemingly gave him a gift, and he left you with not one, but two as well. The Kaioshin's just like, and you're here to, take you to the Grand Priest. She sweat drops and she's just, why? She's just saying, it's nothing bad, just something that we must inform you of. You weren't the last Kai, so there is no need for that boy to become a destroyer like how you thought. She sighs as then she thinks, wait, where's the other guy then? Whis points to the sword. She's saying, the Z sword? Yes. See, Lord Beerus sealed the old Kai, the one that his soul is actually bonded to. Since, well, if he dies, Beerus dies. And the man annoyed Beerus a lot. So, he did. Anyway, since, you're alive and, well, we were going to ask you about, if you have plans to make more Kais in the future, but it seems that you've already taken the initiative with that young Izuku boy. It seems that you care quite deeply for him. Quite strange since you left so abruptly, especially without telling him about you and your two children. The West Kaioshin looks at Whis as, she's just saying, it's better if he didn't know. Besides, right now, he's just a mortal. He has some god key, but not a lot. My kids would be born with way more god key than he has right now. And it'll take a while for him to reach our levels. And I'm willing to wait, but till then, I'll gotta raise, but she looks down on her tummy as she rubs her belly. She then, says she's gotta focus on the future Kais. She's very grateful that Izuku, did this, but, she doesn't know how it'll work if if his god ki and his training gets stagnated by this hero work, maybe he could never acclimate. And Whis is just like, oh, don't worry, my dear. As, Whis taps his staff, the Z sword glows, rocks explode from it, the Z sword's not broken, but the Elder Kai is free, as Whis tells the Elder Kai, soon he'll be taken to meet a boy. He'll awaken this boy's power deep within him. He's a Kai in training, so it would be beneficial for his training. He's currently on Earth. And, yeah. So Supreme Kai is just like, and why would I do... As he then realizes Whis is about to steal him back into the sword. As, Elder Kai's just like, fine. Kai's out of there, teleports to Izuku, because he's the only other creature with God Ki, and it's not a lot. So, yeah, he informs Izuku who he is. Izuku would get his potential awakened, and yes, now, keep in mind, Kendo, who, would be someone Izuku talks to regularly throughout this, would ask if she could have her potential awakened, and, well, Elder Kai, was angry, but Kendo said if, she gives him these, and they were dirty magazines, she stole them from, Setsuna Toga, no Togage, and Izuku pulls out Mineta's porn stash, as he's just like, oh, you're gonna have these then, I know someone who has them, he also goes to Class 1A, not 1A, but Class 1B, he was a bit of a perv, they nod. And yeah, that's how that went down. Now, the awakening of Kendo's power also meant the awakening of her quirk, which doesn't just mean big fist, like normal. She can also grow full size now. Like 100% gigantification. And she can control how big she makes herself. She got a simple, 5 times base height, 10 times base height, a 50 times base height. How tall is Kendo? I'm back. And so she's 5'5" and 1/4. So I'm gonna just stick with the 5'5". So 5.5 times 5 is... I just had this too. Fuck. Hold up. 27.5. So a 5 times height increase for Itsuka Kendo would have been from 5'5" to 27 foot, 5 inches. And then she has the 10 times 1, so she becomes 55, 55 feet. And she can just, choose which limb grows to that size. Similar to how the Akamichis do their partial expansion jutsu. So if she wants, it could just be one giant arm or one giant leg. Or just giant head if she wants to. It doesn't really matter. She can gigantify herself just, enough. And then control however she grows. Even in her giant form, she can make herself bigger. But parts of her other body would shrink because of it. It would be kind of cool, but kind of weird, but also interesting. Now, the sirens. Now, in this timeline, like I was saying, Kendo got her potential unlock, and, well, All Might would call in Izuku, and when they ask him about his weird powers, he explains, not necessarily a quirk, and, well, he did train. They're just techniques that he learned by a certain person. They're like, who could teach you these techniques? And he's just like, God. You're joking, right? No. God is a woman. And we had passionate sex a few times. And, well, after a few moments, I was able to do, some of her moves. And, yeah. Kendo looked at Izuku after the whole, oh yeah, no, I just casually fuck God. And Kendo's just like, excuse me, you little shit? And Izuku's just like, what? Kendo, she blushing because, she whispers to him, I thought we were gonna be each other's firsts. Izuku, gives her a warm smile as he pulls her in, gives her a slight kiss on the forehead as he tells her she's so cute. You know, Kendo then just buries her face in Izuku's chest as she's embarrassed. Izuku, chuckles. He embraces Kendo. All Might's just like, I'm right here. Izuku's just like, I mean, the God didn't mind when people watch, so I don't really care either. Kendo's just like, starts pounding on his chest, just like, Izuku chuckles. As then he looks at All Might as he's saying, and you want to give me your quirk? I refuse. I don't need it. I have other techniques. Izuku explains that, well, his Kai training, he got teleporting, healing, steel block summoning, and, well, he can read minds, along a few other techniques that he learned from other planets. Fucking hell. One of them being, something about the lines of soul fission, where they can make clones of themselves, dividing their one soul into two, and then they could fuse back together, but it'd only be, like, as many times as you could split your soul, but your power does divide, in half when you do it, so, try not to use it too much, since it would be a perfect copy, a perfect clone. Yeah. Which, if you stab one clone, it gets absorbed into the other one. Even if you stab the one who casted it, then his soul will just be absorbed by the other Izuku. And thus, the clone Izuku becomes real Izuku, because in a sense they're both backup drives for one another. Which is kind of cool, but kind of weird. Which All Might was just like, that is strange. Kendo's just like, I want Kai training. You got your power awakened, though. All Might's just like, what is this now? Izuku's just like, oh, right, you should probably use Kendo then. She does have a quirk. Show him. She says, it was originally Big Fist. And then, she starts growing different parts of her body. She grows in size a little bit, too. All Might is surprised as, you have that much control? She nods, as Izuku then also says, she's also a lot stronger. She even retains all of her, gigantic strength in her base form. Kendo blushes because Izuku's complimenting her. Izuku's just like, well, you're amazing, Kendo. He starts, whispering in her ear a few things, and Kendo's, ah. All Might's just like, I'm still here. Izuku yet again, just like, you can watch. And Kendo yet again, just like, no, he cannot. Especially if I'm supposed to take his quirk. If I'm supposed to be his successor, I don't want him to, have him see me do that. Izuku just chuckles as he gives Kendo a kiss on the cheek. She's about to punch Izuku as Izuku tells her, oh, Ken, I love you. She stops entirely as, she looks at Izuku. What? What did you say? Izuku chuckles as he repeats it again. Itsuka Kendo, I love you. Izuku Midoriya, loves you. Nice silence. All Might's just like, beautiful moment. Cries, anime tears. No, he would still do the, eat this type of shit. And, well, Izuku would be quick to, cut up All Might's hair, put it in a very, 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 intricate black coffee for Itsuka to drink. Its bitterness would, work. As All Might was just looking at Itsuku just like, I don't really appreciate you just mangling my strand of hair like that. Izuku's just like, I will punch you. And I will make it hurt. And then I will throw steel blocks at you. As Izuku had, at this point, already healed All Might's injury. Which, yeah. He felt a lot stronger, by the way. So, yes. Even though he pretty much had no time limit after that, he still passed on the quirk to Kendo. It just means that the embers inside of All Might are just stronger and they last longer. Now, here's what other things are going to go down. You see, Izuku, once he is in, the actual school, things get a little bit complicated. You see, he's, I wouldn't say the most arrogant one, but Izuku does have a little bit of a godfucker complex. Now, godfucker complex is those who have fucked gods and thus see themselves above the gods. Simple. Now, the name explained it all. Now, continue on with the story. See.